Today we're going to be talking about productivity improvement, and as you can notice, we are not referring to productivity in the traditional way of productivity control. As a project manager, it's the basic responsibility of the project manager is to improve productivity. That's why he can increase the contractor profit. Okay. First, we have to understand what is productivity, the concept of productivity itself. Okay, it is what you get out compared to what you put in. What you get out as compared to what you put in, that's productivity. Okay, you put in something, you get out something. You compare what you get to what you put in. Okay, so productivity equal output divided by the input. Okay, it's something like a grinding machine. You put something, you have an input, and you get an output. The input could be money, time, fuel, energy, anything like that. The output could be a production units, like meter squared, cubic yards, whatever. Or distance travel, if you are referring to the car. If you are putting fuel, how much distance you are traveling per gallon, that's the productivity of your car. Or you would get money. Okay. Construction productivity units of productivity per time. Could be cubic yard per hour, square foot per hour, ton per hour, etc. Units of production per dollar. Could be cubic, how much it's cost you per cubic yard or square foot or something like that. Okay. How can we improve? How can productivity be improved? Let's look at two industries using productivity and the way they are trying to improve or control productivity. Manufacturing industry. In the manufacturing industry, they are using stick and carrot. I mean, they are giving incentive and motivation, whatever. They will pay you more money if you produce more. We call this the carrot. And they will punish you if you don't deliver the productivity they are planning for. So we call this stick and carrot. The other one is for improving productivity in the manufacturing industry is the research and development. Okay. The third one is production system analysis. We analyze the production system and look into way to cut the fat and the waste. Okay. What about the construction industry? Usually the traditional method in the construction industry is a stick and carrot. Okay, it's the management in the field are using the stick and carrot to improve or control productivity. Now, what about new ways to improve productivity? New improvement ideas are easily and widely spread with no royalty fee. So there is no research and development. Regularly, there is no research and development in the construction industry. Some guy in one side came out with a good idea to improve productivity. Okay, there is no patent. Okay, anybody can take it and use it. Okay. This is a typical job site performance scale. I mean, if you try to gather the productivity of any crew, any type of crew in any construction site, it will, mostly regularly conform to this curve. You have the average productivity, and you have some people less than the average and some people above the average. That's a normal curve. Okay. Usually the best performer are called the exemplary. Okay, those are the crew or the people who are performing above the average. We call this exemplary performance. Okay. If you look into the ratio between the exemplary performance and the average performance, we called it performance ability ratio. Performance ability ratio. The higher this ratio, the higher the prospect of productivity improvement. I mean, look at this curve again. I mean, if you divide the best over the average, there is a distance between the best and the average. It usually would be more than 1. The higher this value, the higher the potential for improvement of the productivity, because there are exemplar who are doing very good, and the average is this. The wider the range between the exemplar and the average, the higher the potential for productivity improvement. Okay. Now, let's look at the traditional approach to construction productivity. Usually the traditional approach is the control. Okay, what do you mean? I mean, look at the dotted curve, it's a regular curve. What the management is trying to do is look into the worst and trying to push the worst to become conform to the average. Trying to push the worst to conform to the average, because they said the worst is the one that is making us losing money. So let's motivate them with the stick or the carrot to conform to the average. But at the same time, they forgot that, and they are pushing the worst to conform to the average. Also, the best is would have no incentive to work too much. So he would conform also to the average. So the traditional approach is getting the curve more to the average. Everybody should be molded to the average. This is the control approach. Okay, the exemplar approach is a different way. It looks for improvement, not control. How is that? I mean, we have an exemplar performance. Instead of trying to get everybody conforming to the average, I'm trying to push the average towards the exemplar performance. Okay, this is the improvement approach. Now, the question is, how can we do that? Okay, how can we move the average to the exemplar? How can we move the curve? How can we get everybody to move down there? Okay, we can use what it's called the methods engineering model. Okay, what is the things that distinguish between the exemplar and the average? Okay, let's look at the difference between those two. We don't need to do a research and development. Just look at your construction site, which is unique in every case. And if you find somebody who's doing better than the other, look at him and let's find out why he's doing better. Okay? Using the methods engineering model, it's analyzing what could be the things that distinguish between the exemplar and the average. We divided those things into an environmental element and behavioral element. Okay? For both of them, we have the knowledge, the capacity, and the motivation. Okay? And if we look at it bigger than that, okay, we have the environmental element in yellow, and we have the knowledge, capacity, motivation. If we look at the environmental element, we'll find information. There is a difference in the information, the resources, and the incentives. If we look at the behavioral element, we'll find the skills, the capacity, and the motives. Those are the 6 elements that could contribute, combined or individually, to the difference between the exemplar and the average. Okay, let's look at each one individually. Okay, let's look first at the environmental element, the yellow one. Okay, let's look at the knowledge, information. Provide clear and correct plans and well-written specification. Avoid changes to the plans as the work progress. Plan the work well ahead and keep people informed of plans. Provide frequent feedback as to how well people perform. Tell people exactly what is expected of them. Show people how to perform well. keep the workforce informed as to progress against schedule. It's all the responsibility of the manager, okay, to do these things. Okay, with respect to information, this is the information that should be given. Okay, if you give no clear and correct plans and well-written specification to a crew, they will perform bad. Okay, for example, let's look at right now the resources. What distinguishes between the exemplar and the average? Use equipment that is well suited to the task. Have tools available when they are needed. Use adequate materials. Follow all safety rules. Provide equipment when it is needed. Make sure materials are available as needed. Okay. Now let's look at the incentive. Make wages contingent upon performance. Provide non-monetary incentives. Reward people for good performance. Tell people when they have done a good job. Avoid negative incentives. Now let's look at the behavioral elements that distinguish between the exemplar and the average. We have the skill, we have the capacity, we have the motives. Okay, let's look at the skills. Design the training to fit job site condition. Use only exemplary performers to train new workers on the job. Remove obstacles to the continued training. Ensure that competent people teach job site safety. The most important one is draw an individual experience whenever possible. That's the skill. Capacity, capability. Fit the crew staffing to the task. That's your job. Protect workers from adverse weather. Provide acceptable toilets and wash-up facilities. Select people for the tasks they perform best. That's your job. Insist that all workers wear safety protection. 6. Motivation. Motives. Hire individuals who enjoy construction work. Make people feel good about working on the job. Keep good performance on the job. Offer career opportunities. So we have 6 elements. Okay, let's go back. If you'd like to improve productivity, look for the exemplar. Okay, what makes the exemplar perform better than the average? Okay, use the business engineering model to analyze it to see if one of them or a combination of those elements in the methods engineering model is the one contributing to it. Okay? Once you have decided that, okay, management role and impact. Okay? First, look at the environmental elements, which will give a direct and immediate impact on the job at hand. Management to be effective. First, look at the environmental element because you have higher control and you can change it easily. Second, the behavioral element, which will yield a very slow and weak impact on the job at hand. Okay? Training in construction, especially for small or something, okay, would yield a long-term effect. Instead of training your worker, hire a worker with higher skill, hire competent workers. That would be more effective. Now, how to go ahead and try to improve your construction productivity? There is an added value in terms of accomplishment as a result of improving the average performance. Before you decide on doing something, let's say the capability, you'll find that, for example, that the exemplar are using electric drill for nailing or for drilling the holes. Okay, sophisticated equipment. That's why their productivity is high. And the average, the rest of the crew are using just hand tools, not as sophisticated as this one. So you say, all right, I will increase productivity by providing every crew in the job site with this sophisticated equipment. Oh, before you're making this decision, you have to say, all right, I would be saving money if I provide this extra tool. Okay, there is an added value in terms of accomplishment as a result of improving the average performance. At the same time, there will be an added cost that have to be paid to accomplish this improvement. The benefit cost measurement is referred to as the worth of performance. So you have to decide, is it worth the money? The productivity improvement will yield $100, but it will cost you $150. Don't do it. You are not seeking productivity improvement for its own sake. Okay? You have to make a worth of performance. Is it worth it or not? That's your decision. Okay? Overview. How to improve productivity on any given trade. If you have a trade, a carpenter or something, and you are the project manager. You are not here just to expedite and with the workers to confirm to the average. If you can improve productivity, that's your main job. How to do it? Just first, collect data about crew productivity. Draw the curve. Something like that. Look for the example. Once you locate the exemplar and you have the average, okay, calculate the performance ability ratio. The higher the performance ability ratio, the higher the potential for improvement. Refer to the methods engineering model to determine the item that differentiate the exemplar crew from the average. Okay? Calculate the worst performance, make the decision. Either to provide the worst performance is good, benefit cost analysis is okay, go ahead, improve the productivity using the message engineering model. Okay, now we're going to be talking about a little bit about motivation. Before we do that, we have to distinguish between motives and incentives. What's motives and what is incentives? And we have to define a little bit what's the ability, motivation, and attitude. What's the difference between those three terms? And I would like to stress, based on my experience, first thing in motivation in the construction site is negative motivation. Avoid negative motivation. Most of us in the construction site are falling into that trap. They first avoid negative motivation, then provide positive motivation. We're thinking about positive motivation, and we forget all about that we are doing a negative motivation that is totally destructive to the morale and the motives on the construction site. Okay. What is motive and incentive? Motives is things that the crew or the worker come to the construction site with. He is motivated, self-motivated. He likes what he's doing. You have little to do with his motives. He hates working as a carpenter. You can't do anything about it. Or he likes it, he enjoyed it, it's within him. Okay? What about incentive? Incentive is provided from somebody outside. Okay, the management will provide incentive, but the motives is self-motivated from the work. You can do little, okay, to change the motives of somebody towards the work. But you can provide incentives. Management can provide incentives. Okay, now let's talk about ability, motivation, and attitude. Ability is what and how much you can do. This is your ability. Motivation, how much you are willing to do. Okay, I can lift 100-pound weight, but I don't care. I'm not gonna lift more than 5 pounds. Okay, but I can lift 100 pounds, but I'm not motivated. I don't care. Okay, attitude is how good you would do it. So ability, what and how much you can do. Motivation, how much you are willing to do. Attitude, how good you would do it. Last thing is the negative motivation. Let's wrap it up. First of all, you are working as a team. Okay? So the worst negative motivation you can have is to make anybody in your team feels like he is a mushroom. Okay? What is it to be a mushroom? Okay, he would feel like I must be a mushroom. They keep me in the dark and feed me nothing but bullshit. If any one of your team feels like that, it's destructive. Make everybody in the construction site feel that he is part of a team. If you are a leader, it will be making him feel that he is part of a team that must win. Okay? Thank you.